Right now, everybody focusing on battery EV. That is a regulation driver.
We will introduce by 2025 13 electrified vehicles.
You know that hush you get when a Tesla rolls by, like the world's flexing how quiet it can be. Mazda wants to ruin that hush. In a test bay that smelled of metal and ambition, they fired up a rotary engine that didn't purr. It roared like it was daring the EV world to say something. Mazda's CEO claims this so-called dead technology could wreck the electric revolution everyone's been hyping. An engine design nearly 60 years old, now re-engineered to burn cleaner while delivering a hit of raw, mechanical thrill that no battery pack can mimic. But how can a 60-year-old engine design possibly threaten Tesla's empire? The Rotary Revolution. The Tesla Model S Plaid can launch itself from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just under 2 seconds. It holds over 1,020 horsepower, and its quiet hum on a morning street can feel like the future humming softly in your ear. People lean against coffee shop windows to watch it slide past, a promise of tomorrow gliding on 4 wheels. But beneath that promise, there is something it cannot give. The freedom of instant refueling with a 350-mile range that does not depend on a charger at all. In February 2024, deep inside Mazda's headquarters, a team of 36 engineers gathered around an engine that had once ruled the streets in the 1980s and 1990s. It was a rotary engine, small enough to fit in a backpack, yet powerful enough to make grown mechanics grin like teenagers. Mazda's CEO made it clear, this engine, reborn with modern technology, would not be used to drive the wheels directly. Instead, it would become the heart of a hybrid system, a range extender capable of burning cleaner fuel while keeping the car's battery topped off, giving drivers the ability to fill up in under 5 minutes and continue their journey. No charger in sight. Electric vehicle adoption has been rising, with a projected 30% growth in the next 5 years. But behind the shiny graphs, range anxiety continues to haunt every new buyer. You can have the fastest EV on the block, but when your battery dips below 20%, a quiet worry begins to settle in. Where is the next charger? How long will you have to wait there? Will all the stations be full during a holiday rush? A Tesla might promise quick charging times, but even with the fastest superchargers, you are still waiting 30 minutes for a decent top-up. Mazda's Rotary, however, can sip fuel quietly while you drive, acting like a small generator that feeds the battery as you move. It does not need to drive the wheels directly, avoiding the inefficiencies that once haunted rotary designs. Instead, it runs at a constant, efficient speed, delivering energy to the battery so the electric motors can keep doing what they do best, delivering instant torque, smooth acceleration, and a quiet ride when you need it. It is not about replacing the electric drive, but about freeing it from the charger's leash. During the test drives, the new rotary system delivered a 350-mile range. When the battery dropped low, a quick refuel was all it took to continue the journey. No waiting, no chargers, no guessing if the station down the road is out of order. For those who grew up in the 2010s, dreaming of Teslas, this might sound old-fashioned. Still, it could feel like a small revolution for drivers who value freedom over waiting. Mazda knows it cannot compete with Tesla's instant torque or the quiet power that makes a Plaid so addictive. Instead, it is betting on a different kind of freedom, one that connects the past with the future, letting drivers feel the road without constantly checking a charging map. This rotary engine is not loud or reckless like the ones that raced down highways in the 1980s. It is quiet, efficient, and precise, operating behind the scenes like a silent guardian of your range. Would you rather wait 30 minutes at a charger, or would you choose a 5-minute refueling stop that lets you continue your journey without delay? Because this is not just about convenience. Mazda's CEO has made claims that could reshape the entire automotive landscape. All we need to ask is, how? Inside Mazda's $50 million gamble. In January of the year 2025, Mazda's CEO Masahiro Moro stood before a small gathering of journalists in Tokyo, the winter air clear, the kind that makes you see your breath. Cameras clicked softly as he paused, letting the weight of his words settle in. "The iconic SP is ready," he said, and those words meant more than another sports car launch. This was Mazda's signal that they were prepared to challenge the future that everyone said was already owned by Tesla. He explained that the iconic SP would be different, with a targeted launch in 2026. Underneath its sculpted hood would sit a hybrid system delivering 365 horsepower. It was not just any hybrid. It was built around a dual-rotor engine, paired with an electric motor that delivered instant torque. Together, they created a power curve that felt linear and alive, blending the deep pull of an electric launch with the high-revving excitement that only a Rotary could give. Mazda's engineers had spent $50 million developing this system, pouring resources into the materials that would allow the Rotary engine to finally overcome its past weaknesses. They had crafted ceramic apex seals, designed to handle heat and friction while maintaining perfect contact inside the rotor housing. An AI-guided lubrication system adjusted the oil flow in real time, ensuring that every part received exactly what it needed, without waste or excess emissions. They even applied a nano-ceramic self-healing coating, a film so thin it was invisible but capable of closing microscopic scratches that could lead to inefficiency over time. Emissions, which had once been the Rotary's greatest flaw, were now a strength. Mazda had faced criticism for the fuel consumption and smoke that marked its legacy in the 1980s. This time, the engineers achieved a 90% reduction in emissions when using carbon-neutral fuels, pushing the iconic SP into a category that could comply with low-emission Vehicle 4 and the upcoming Euro 7 standards. This breakthrough meant the iconic SP would not just pass regulations, it would stand as proof that Rotary engines could be part of a cleaner future. Price mattered too. Mazda planned to position the iconic SP within the $50,000 to $60,000 range, a space where many sports car enthusiasts searched for something exciting yet accessible. Tesla's Roadster hovered in a higher price bracket. While it promised faster acceleration, it did not offer the instant refueling that the iconic SP's hybrid system could provide. Mazda believed this would be the answer for drivers who wanted a car that felt mechanical and alive, yet modern enough to handle the demands of daily life. As the journalists stepped closer, peering into the engine bay, they saw the compact size of the Rotary unit, its polished surfaces reflecting the soft lights above. It was small enough to leave room for a spacious cabin and a practical cargo area, yet powerful enough to launch the SP from a standstill with the urgency expected of a modern sports coupe. Mazda had not revealed exact 0 to 60 figures, but insiders hinted that it would be under 5 seconds, fast enough to challenge the Model 3 performance while delivering a soundtrack that was distinctly mechanical, reminding drivers of the joy of driving. The production timeline would be tight, requiring final regulatory approvals and small adjustments to the platform before assembly lines could begin preparation. Mazda's internal goals are to start production by late 2026, aligning with new fuel standards in Europe and North America. They had planned this carefully, ensuring that when the iconic SP hit the roads, it would do so without fear of regulatory roadblocks. Again, would you choose a sports car that lets you refuel in 5 minutes while giving you 365 horsepower and a clean conscience? Or would you rather wait for a charger while the world moves around you? Numbers and specs only tell half the story. A deeper revolution is happening inside Mazda's factories and test tracks, which most people are missing. How could this revolution change everything we thought we knew about the future of driving? The carbon-neutral conspiracy. While EVs claim zero tailpipe emissions, Mazda has quietly built a Rotary engine capable of running on hydrogen, algae-based biofuels, and synthetic e-fuels. This could achieve true carbon neutrality in a way that battery electric cars simply cannot. The world has rushed toward electric cars, expecting them to save the environment. By the end of 2025, EVs are projected to hold 16.7% of the global car market. That sounds impressive until you look closer and see growth slowing in major markets as grid demand surges and charging infrastructure struggles to keep up. People discover charging an EV in cold weather can take much longer than expected. Beneath the clean Instagram photos of new Teslas plugged into chargers lies the hidden reality of battery mining, the challenges of safe battery disposal, and the environmental cost of building out the charging networks needed to keep millions of EVs on the road. Lithium extraction has caused water shortages in some regions, and cobalt mining continues to raise concerns about labor practices. These are not the details you find in glossy marketing campaigns. However, Mazda is taking a different path. Their rotary engine has been designed to operate on multiple fuels, including hydrogen and advanced biofuels made from algae, as well as synthetic e-fuels created using captured carbon dioxide. This is not a concept trapped in PowerPoint slides. Mazda has already proven this in motorsport, running their MX-5 Miata in the Super Taikyu Endurance Series on carbon-neutral synthetic fuels, pushing the limits in real-world conditions to test reliability, efficiency, and emissions reductions under race stress. The advantage of this approach is clear. Unlike hydrogen fuel cells, which require expensive fuel stacks and high-pressure tanks while relying on a hydrogen supply chain that is still being built, Mazda's rotary system can use existing infrastructure while offering the same instant refueling that drivers are used to today. It also provides a compact and lightweight solution, allowing engineers to design cars with better balance and agility. And Mazda is not doing this alone. They are partnering with energy companies and fuel innovators who see the potential in building a network that can support clean fuels without requiring every driver to adopt the same technology. Unlike Tesla's closed ecosystem, which depends on proprietary chargers and software, Mazda's strategy is open, scalable, and adaptable, working with global fuel suppliers who are investing in synthetic fuel plants that could one day replace fossil fuels without forcing a complete shift in how drivers refuel. Efficiency is often raised as a critique of hydrogen-powered vehicles, but Mazda's rotary can convert hydrogen to power with fewer moving parts, reduced vibration, and a simplified design that keeps maintenance costs lower than what many expect with new technologies. This is Mazda's quiet bet against a world convinced that batteries are the only way forward. Now, which sounds more sustainable to you? A world that depends entirely on mined lithium and thousands of new charging stations, or a system that allows instant refueling with carbon-neutral fuels while using existing infrastructure? But if this technology is so promising, why has Mazda taken so long to perfect it? And what happened behind the scenes that kept this technology in the shadows for so many years? The 11-year Rotary Resurrection. When Mazda pulled the RX-8 off the production line in the year 2012, it felt like the end of a dream. A lightweight sports car with a high-revving rotary engine that could sing all the way to 9,000 RPM is gone because it simply could not keep up with tightening emissions regulations and reliability expectations. It was a goodbye that stung, especially for enthusiasts who loved how the rotary felt on winding roads and at track days. The rotary engine's journey started in 1967, when Mazda bet its future on this strange pistonless design. It was smaller and lighter than traditional engines, allowing engineers to build cars that were agile and exciting. But as the years passed, issues began to emerge. Apex seals wore out faster than expected, oil consumption was high, and emissions were tough to control. Owners loved the character of these engines, but even the most loyal fans could not ignore the maintenance costs and environmental challenges. These problems turned the rotary into a relic of automotive history. For 11 years, many believed Mazda had given up, leaving the rotary to fade away while the industry moved toward hybrids and full electrics. But inside Mazda's engineering labs, the story was far from over. Recently, Mazda's CEO, Masahiro Moro, made it clear that the rotary would return, but only when it was ready to solve the problems that killed it the first time. That is where the breakthroughs began to take shape. Engineers developed ceramic-infused apex seals designed to last longer while reducing friction. They implemented AI-assisted lubrication monitoring systems, allowing real-time adjustments to protect the engine while minimizing oil use. Hybrid cooling systems now manage the engine's heat under heavy loads, making it far more reliable than the previous versions. Mazda did not bring the Rotary back as a direct drive power source alone. They realized its potential as a generator in hybrid systems, where it could operate in its most efficient range while providing electricity for the wheels. The MX-30R EV stands as proof. This car offers 53 miles of electric-only range for daily use, while extending up to 350 miles with the rotary generator, allowing drivers to enjoy the benefits of electric mobility without the fear of running out of charge far from a plug. Rotary engines are perfectly suited for this role, providing compact and lightweight solutions that allow for flexible vehicle designs. Unlike many EVs that need large battery packs, Mazda's approach uses a smaller battery while letting the Rotary handle the long-distance work, reducing overall weight and resource demand. Think of it like vinyl records, a technology once considered dead, replaced by CDs and streaming, only to come back stronger because people realized there was something timeless about its character and warmth. Mazda's Rotary is experiencing its own revival, but with advanced technology ensuring it does not suffer from the flaws that once held it back. Have you ever owned a Rotary-powered car? But here is the real question. Can this reborn Rotary engine truly disrupt an industry that is projected to grow by 30% this year? Can Rotary kill Tesla's dreams? Tesla, the champion of this movement, depends on its vast charging network and the promise of cheaper electricity. But batteries age, and replacement costs can hit as hard as a down payment on a small house. Charging stations, even in cities, often face queues, and in winter, range can shrink fast enough to turn a planned road trip into a slow, anxious crawl between charging stops. Mazda sees these challenges and is walking a different path. Their Rotary hybrid system does not need new stations or grid expansions, and it does not ask drivers to plan their lives around charging. It can refuel in 5 minutes at any gas station, using existing infrastructure while offering a hybrid system that covers short daily commutes in electric mode. It is not about rejecting electric vehicles entirely, but about giving people a choice that feels like the best of both worlds, rather than an all-or-nothing commitment. The numbers make it clear. The global electric vehicle market is a $2 trillion dream, but it is a dream built on a fragile system that requires heavy government support, vast infrastructure investments, and a steady supply of rare minerals for batteries. Mazda's Rotary hybrids, by comparison, do not need to wait for these systems to mature. They work now, using technology that slots into people's current habits while reducing emissions and fuel use. This strategy is not going unnoticed. Other manufacturers are watching Mazda closely and are curious if this approach could offer an escape route from the full electrification tunnel. The Rotary hybrid could become a model for an alternative path, one that recognizes the value of electric driving but does not ignore the reality of infrastructure and consumer psychology. People want flexibility. They want a car that can handle the daily school run without emissions while still allowing a spontaneous road trip without worrying about where to plug in next. Mazda's Rotary system speaks to that desire, offering a solution that feels practical, immediate, and sustainable without demanding lifestyle sacrifices. So, what does this all mean for you as a car buyer in 2026? Are you ready to bet on a future that demands complete electrification, or do you see the value in a technology that can bridge the gap? How Mazda's gamble changes your wallet. By 2026, car buyers will face a choice that goes deeper than brand loyalty or horsepower figures. Fully electric cars promise a cleaner future, but demand a lifestyle shift. Home charging setups, planning long trips around charge points, and accepting battery degradation costs that can sneak up like a second car payment. Mazda's Rotary hybrid gamble offers an escape hatch. It lets you drive on electric power for daily commutes, then switch to fuel for long trips without worrying about range or hours spent waiting at chargers. Refueling takes minutes, and you keep the freedom to drive anywhere without hunting for a plug. This hybrid system does not demand a new charging network or strain the power grid. It uses our existing infrastructure while lowering emissions, cutting fuel use, and avoiding the steep battery replacement bills that can shock electric vehicle owners. For many drivers, it is not just about environmental choices, but about practicality and freedom. Mazda's approach could redefine what it means to go green without giving up convenience. What do you think about Mazda's Rotary comeback? Is this the future or a step back? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's see where you stand on this.